How's it going, dickheads? Welcome back to Zirkzank Slays. I'm fucking Zirkzank. This is fucking Zirkzank Slays. I'm gonna be saying some shit, mate. Oh, you better get fucking ready for it, mate. It's gonna be fucking great.
I'm gonna be talking about chess in this episode because I feel like it's worth discussing stuff that I know a lot about. For example, chess. So I get into a lot of debates with people that I know about why chess is a bad game. They don't believe me purely because, chess is quite old and it's almost blasphemous to say that chess isn't good. But I'm gonna just put forward my opinions, which you're probably gonna immediately disagree with, but I'm gonna put it forward anyway and suggest that chess is not as good as you think. Like, as far as being like an optimal sort of one-on-one kind of PvP game, player versus player. That's where I come from. My ground is from... I've got fucking shadows on me. My basis is fucking... My basis is... It's not a good PvP game. I'm not saying it's a bad game, like, overall. I'm saying it's not the optimal kind of PvP game or test of intelligence against another person as it is perceived to be. My fucking thing's shaking. It's the fucking energy, man. Fucking hell. I feel really good compared to yesterday. The thing with chess is that it's, first of all, it's turn-based, so you gotta wait between your turn and your opponent's turn, which means that in a turn-based game, if you've not got a timer on the turns, then the game can just... You can have a very long time between each turn to think of a strategy and to outthink your opponent. Now, with chess, because it's so researched, there are ways that you can do that. And I feel like in a good game, there shouldn't be any way for you to really find the optimal move to make in a given situation. Like, for example, there are only a limited number of moves. It's a huge number, but it's still a limited number of moves that you can make, and only a certain number of those will allow you to win the game. So ignore all of them pretty much, because people are going to be sticking to the first 10 moves first 15 moves, I think it is, that they make are basically going to be the same, because why the fuck would you not? And the less pieces there are on the board, the more obvious it becomes what you have to do. So it gets to a point where you're not really playing against each other. You're playing the game. You're playing the game itself. You're just playing the game out the way that it is supposed to be played. You're not making any real decisions, because the decision should always be to make the best move. The best move requires you to predict what your opponent is going to do, but your opponent is either going to make the best move or your opponent is going to make the second best move, and then you've got to decide, is he going to make the best move or is he going to make the second best move, and then you're gambling on which move your opponent is going to make. So this is why I don't think chess is good, because it's just gambling. It's turn-based gambling, and I get a lot of flack for saying that, because it's hard to understand that in a turn-based game like that, you're basically just betting. You're betting what your opponent is going to do, and then putting your move forward. But because you're both well-researched at chess, I'd assume, you're not thinking of your moves on the fly. You're basically using your previous knowledge of chess to say, yeah, I'm going to move here. But your previous knowledge of chess doesn't even come from your own experience. It comes from books. There are books on how to play chess, on what moves to make in given situations. There are computers that can calculate what move to make in a given situation, and then these computers can beat players. The best computers at chess will always be better than their best player, because if you're given a time limit to make a move, or the fact that the computer can think a lot faster, go to the database of moves or calculate what move to make based on the patterns of it's. This is what I mean. It's not a good way to test someone's skill in a 1v1. So then you move over to something like I've got on my wall over there, StarCraft, which it takes an element of PvP, which I find is very important, which is speed, being faster than your opponent. So in a turn-based game, you don't get that. Like in StarCraft, you have to make more actions per minute. Usually you gotta move faster than your opponent. It makes sense. You gotta build faster. You gotta get your units there faster, and you gotta just react faster than they can. That doesn't matter in chess. So the other thing is making it different every time. The board and the pieces on it are always going to be the same, and your opponent's moves are pretty much always going to be the same or from a same select list. Like I say, you're betting on whether he's going to make the best move or the second best move, and so you don't have any real variety. Like most chess matches end up being the same. Okay, I'll take that back. Most top level chess matches up until halfway through are pretty much the same match, or you'll be able to watch that match happen in another situation. Whereas when you move over to more dynamic games, such as games that are maybe randomly generated levels or puzzles that are based on an algorithm that just puts things into random places, so the first time a player sees that board, everything's different. Now, you can get that sort of thing in chess, like Chess 960, where you've got your pieces in a shuffled random order, your opponent's pieces in another shuffled random order, and I think that's good because then you're both thinking on the fly against each other, and you're playing more strategically based on your own thought rather than years of research or computer research thought. So that's one solution to make chess better. The other one was the board. Now, this is a bit different to do, but you can get like a three-dimensional board. So you've got 3D chess, and have a bigger board. So you've got chess on a bigger board. That's what that means. You can have a three-way chess, but I no, don't do that. But what I'm saying is, so those are some solutions to make the game different each time, but it's still turn-based. So then you have a real-time chess on a three-dimensional plane with all the pieces. So all the pieces are swapped around in their starting position. It's on a three-dimensional plane, and it's real time. Now that is chess as a proper PvP game. And you can't deny that that's way better than, you know, this well thought out ongoing like thing that is just so bad. Every big grand chess master player, god, elite emperor guy will tell you that actually chess is kind of repetitive and dull because it's the same sort of thing happening. It's only at low level chess when you're playing against people who you explain the rules of chess to them, but they don't know anything else other than the rules and how they can move, and then you get those two people to play against each other, then that's pretty good. That's a pretty good game. Yeah, that's an okay game. But I'm talking about at higher levels. So at higher levels, that's where it's important. That's where PvP matters. When you got the best of the best fighting each other. In chess, there's not much of a fight between them. There's not much excitement because it's just them gambling basically. But Go, the Chinese or Japanese, it comes from both of those places. So shut up. There are Chinese rules and Japanese rules, and one of them's older than the other. I don't know which way around it is, but either way, it's an Asian game. Let's just leave it at that. That one is sort of like, it's what a lot of chess players going towards, the high level chess players are going towards Go when they're realizing that, actually, chess sucks, and they agree with me because that it's the logical conclusion. Chess sucks, and then they go to play Go, and they're like, actually, yeah, this is a way more dynamic game. I mean, you're still sort of gambling on what your opponent's going to do, and for most of the moves, you can't see any real visible consequence of that move later down the line, because some of them are really just arbitrary. You should put your piece down in that place, and you got a real psychological battle going on, as opposed to in chess where it's gambling. So yeah, Go is way better, but it's still turn-based. How can you have real-time Go? I'd say you can't, because then you would be either clicking really fast if you're doing it on a computer, or you'd be just like throwing fucking stones at the board, and that would just get messy. So it has to be turn-based still, but limiting the time is a good thing. Saying that you only have 5 seconds to make a move or 10 seconds to make a move, that's a good way to get people thinking on gut feeling, and then you get a sense of, well, they didn't overthink the move, so they just took the move that they thought would be right, just based on instinct, and you see who's got a better instinct for it, or who lucked out on their instinct. Because let's be honest, it's probably just luck based. So yeah, that's my opinions on chess. It sucks because there's a finite number of moves, as opposed to and it's turn based, and it's gambling, as opposed to something like StarCraft, which I still think it's not the best optimal PvP game, or an FPS game where it's whoever has the fastest reaction and the steadiest hand wins. So you go around a corner and you tap someone on the head with an AK. There's not much to that. If you were stood still, you heard them coming, they don't know you're there, you're obviously going to kill them. And I don't know, as far as PvP goes, 1v1ing in an FPS, if you're saying like Counter-Strike, it's not great because it's a team-based game, and team-based games are way different to 1v1 games, and that's what I'm trying to focus on here. The only 1v1 FPS game that's actually, I think, very, very good in terms of balance and providing skilled players with more chance to be skillful is a game like Quake. You can't deny that Quake is the best 1v1 PvP that's out there, unless there's a better one that I just don't know of. I do a lot of research into this, and I've found them, like the Flash games or whatever, or these other any kind of games. But I'm going off topic here. I just don't think that turn-based games can ever be considered good, or as good as people think chess is. Like, as soon as I say it's bad, and they just like, whoa, fuck off with that. Fucking chess is bad. What a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I've explained why I think that is, and I've offered some solutions to make chess better. So, come at me, you fucking cunt.